Yeah, everyone, this is Thermite, and this is Battle Angel Alita, Last Order, chapters 7 to 12. So last time, Jim went nuts. That's basically it. Well, I mean, you saw the last chapter. We had the whole, I'm trying to think of what exactly happens. Like, Alita wants to go back to Mars. We now have Deckman 100. Jim is, Jim went nuts. He released the final protector of the of kids. Then Jim died. So now no one can stop it theoretically. So that's basically where we're at. Well, there goes Jim Dad. I think that's Jim Dad. Yeah, he's got the mustache. My God, that is violence. Oh, I like how again childlike it is, and how it tears apart Jim's dad. Like it shows how fragile both sides were at the very ends. In the end, they were just unmodified humans squabbling with one another. Okay. So I guess that makes sense. Like, for some reason, her mind is not adapted to her body. Even though, this is a body completely designed based on, the mind and on the conscience, or the consciousness. Blah, blah, blah. For some reason, there's something about it that is wrong. And she hasn't really had this problem with other bodies, less great bodies that were, put together from scrap. So I can only assume that this is saying that her perception of who she is and what she really is are slightly different. And that's why she's having this mismatch. Also, I was told in the comments for the last video that the mangaka switched over from fully traditional lining to digital arts when he switched from the original series to Last Order. And I can definitely see that now that I'm looking at it. Even the original series occasionally did stuff like this where he would paste on patterns and then warp them to fits. But it was always a bit messier, I suppose, overall, especially the line work. Or I always noticed it with Alita's hair, where even here you can still see that he puts in individual strands here and there in order to make it feel fluffy and like hair, but it's not quite as fluffy as it used to be. And that's not bad per se, because it also means his work is a lot cleaner. It's different. Not good, not better, not worse, just different. All brats without brain chips are the enemy. Yeah, there's no reason why they have to fight. This has all been an ideological battle based on well, we have brains, therefore we are the most human, versus we don't have brains, which is probably for the best. Let's fight the children. Oh, that's great. The fact that we have cute Alita twins never fails to amuse me. Partially because they're so chipper, and also partially because there's two of them. They feel so un-Alita, but the fact that they share her design to some extent is so weird. Oh, wait a minute. It's aware of who, it knows what Destinova is, or who Destinova is. Oh, okay. Oh, that's super clever. In a way, that also means that Jim kind of became what he hated. In the sense that now, his human body is dead, and now all that remains of him is his mind in a chip, just like the adults. The world is cruel, but that's only natural. This is such an interesting, viewpoint, especially for someone who believes so deeply in karma, and, someone who, has created a scientific theory based entirely on karmic principles. To also mention that, by the way, to have such a, non-spiritual view of life and human existence and the soul. I think that's so cool because it flips a lot of my perceptions of him on its head. It's not that he believes in the occult, it's that he specifically just believes in karma because he has found this very hard scientific fact behind it. But with everything else, he only believes in what he truly knows. He is a scientific genius to the core. This is such an interesting philosophy. It's a classic idea for a nanoweapon. In theory, there's no material it can't destroy. Yeah, that's actually very surprising that Alita didn't bring it up earlier, especially with the whole wasteland thing. Like, the idea of turning anything to sand is very super sci-fi. Yeah, like, that was pretty nuts. Rip Jim Dad. Tall towers of blocks built high. It might just be the font, but every time I see Lou now, like, I had no problem with the word Lou before, but now I keep seeing it as Loli. Like, that's kind of an L merged with an I, sort of vaguely. I don't know if they changed the font or if it's just, like, something weird going on with my perception of it. I keep reading it as Loli, and it keeps weirding me out. I hope she's okay. I mean, there's really no good answer to that. Like, MIB wasn't that bad in terms of, like, maintaining an orderly society, but they were also very oppressive. So, it's not that they did the best, like, they weren't the best possible solution, but I mean, they were a solution, alright. You'll have to make peace with the surface. Right. That would also be very difficult to keep in mind. Like, they're going through their own social upheaval. It'd be very hard to remember that, oh yeah, by the way, everything we do is based on, like, the hard work and sacrifices of a bunch of, like, not slaves, but just, like, oppressed people beneath us. It's very similar to, like the lower middle class struggle of, well, Walmart's real shitty, and, you know, a lot of the stuff they sell is, like, you know, super cheap because, you know, they take advantage of, like, minimum wage laws, and, you know, they exploit, like, overseas workers. But at the same time, like, it's very hard to reconcile that with the fact that you yourself are struggling, and, you know, some really cheap groceries would be really, really nice. Like, in this case, they're going through social upheaval, and they can't, like, the concept of, oh, by the way, we should also make things fair for those people beneath us, would not even come into their minds because, like, they're already preoccupied with some very heavy stuff. Right. Spacey City Kethras, huh? I assume, like, in the original, that was the Space City Jeru. So that's coming back from the final 3 chapters. I mean, he's not wrong. Number 100 is human. I can't really dislike Nola right now, though, because, I mean, she is a teenager. Her brain isn't fully shaped. And, like, once you end up in a dichotomy like this, where it's very simple and very easy to understand, it can be very difficult to adjust to the idea of, like, well, no, this was wrong. Ah. They are never humans, so there's no need to mourn. Right. He came in when she was at her absolute lowest and gave her a very easy way to get over her grief. The only greater feeling was upsetting someone else's tower of blocks. I can definitely appreciate that concept. The idea of, like, it's really fun to build something and then to destroy it, but there's something exhilarating about destroying something that you didn't build. Like, it's not even the sense of, oh, I get to do this without, you know, the work of having to set it up. I guess it's also, like, the spontaneity of, I don't know how this is going to look when it's, you know, being smashed. I haven't had the time to think about it. So it's all, like, just new and novel, and I don't know. I've never really wanted to upset someone else by destroying a structure they built. But I guess even without, like, malice, there's still this feeling of just, oh man, this is real fun. It's so spontaneous because I didn't spend all this time, like, setting it up. It's just like, oh, well, I guess I'm gonna do this. Well, now it's gone. Block towers as far as I can see. Can I ever top them all? Or topple them all? He's so childlike. This also explains why he felt so childlike when he was tearing apart his own dad. Ugh, that is so freaky. She doesn't care, right? She doesn't care. Alright, no despair tonight, right? I mean, maybe some despair. Alita is not a series that, like, hides from despair, but I am hoping that Alita manages to take this thing down now. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, as long as he doesn't use the Morian, it should be okay. Like, I can't think of a way for Alita to beat that, apart from just, like, blowing away the smoke. Oh, really? Sachimoto is far inferior to Den in every way. Okay. And she's got the strongest body she's ever had. But she still has that weird desync thing going on. Oh, right. It's because it is based on the Imagino cells. Oh, dear. Yeah, her brain can definitely take it. Oh, that's okay. That's really clever. Because, like, can she imagine it? Like, she's used a plasma torch before, but can she, like, imagine it to an extent that it can actually, like, you know, function properly? I'll disintegrate him on the molecular level so you can never make him suffer the torments of this world again. Also, that's really cool that he cares that much about resurrecting Jim that he's willing to to stop being an observer. Just say like, "Hey, I genuinely want to do this. Alita, go get the chip." Yeah, she's nowhere near to the point of being so strong she doesn't have to fight. So she's just got to keep on fighting. I don't need a reason to live. Oh my gosh. I really like the way that these plasma torches are drawn. Like the fact that there's no detail to them. It's just pure white within the borders. Oh, that's also really cool. It must be the flame of Alita's soul. Let me answer my haze of emptiness. Like this is such a good ability for like Jim as he is right now in his like super weird like childlike mind states. It really is just the power of emptiness. It's a plasma cupola. So it's not a game of chicken per se, but like whoever like cannot keep it up any longer immediately loses. Okay, this is probably a good place to look at this. Okay, this was a nice like way to catch up on everything. I don't have anything much to say about it, but that's because we kind of already like talked about it. I'm sad we didn't get to see more of this. I really did like this concept of the Alita doll. Like this tiny little like chibi Alita. That is quite disturbing though. This feels like it's the start of another volume. Like it's really strange because I know for a fact this isn't like a volume cover, for instance. And I know that the volume actually ended like at chapter 6 and not chapter 9. In any case, I could, yeah, like that is real rough either way. Oh? Is she using vibrations? Oh, okay, that is so cool. I shall call it the Plasma Soliton. That is so cool. Like, she basically, like, used the plasma as a medium to send a shockwave through. And because of the properties of plasma, it made it even stronger, as opposed to just, like, you know, being equally strong. That is what makes her such a terrifying warrior. Like, that was so clever, but it was something that, like, it's not something I could have guessed. It's something that she figured out entirely because she has used plasma so many times in the past. Also, this is one thing I really love about sci-fi series in general. The idea of taking something that is very, like, that is, at least in the series, completely scientifically valid, but then, like, using it in a way that doesn't feel, like, techie. Like, using it in a way that feels, like, just purely instinctual or almost magical. I think that's so cool, and, like, it's cooler than magic and, like, you know, magic-based series, because a lot of those don't, like, put a lot of thought into the magic systems. Whereas with a sci-fi series, the science of that series is that series' magic system. And usually they just, by virtue of being sci-fi, have a better understanding of its own system. Oh my god. She is just tearing through her, or through him. Oh, he's crying for mommy. Give us good kyahaha. Oh man. Aw, they're good girls after all. And yeah, I like how much this is genuinely affecting him, that he wanted to revive Jim. Whoa. He's a robo-fetus now. Maybe now I can go back to it. It's a monument to our reconciliation and a reminder of our foolishness and sin. That's true. He really was us. Like, he was a pure embodiment of their cause. The good and the bad. So it makes a lot of sense to, like, not venerate him, but to, like, hold him up as the symbol of, like, yeah, never forgets. Juvenile child embryo. It feels like that shouldn't be the case, but especially with the Imaginos technology, I guess it's completely possible. Okay, so we're moving on, I guess. Aww. I'm so worried about Lou. Kinda slow and inept. Oh. That's very possible, actually. Yeah, because they're made, like, in pods, but they're all made from, like, banks of genetics, or, like, existing genetics. It's not fair that only girls can do it. Why not let the boys get pregnant, too? I want to play it just once. I mean, the DNA organ is such a cool concept. If I had access to it, of course I would play it. Like, who wouldn't? I know it is kind of messed up to create a human life for the sole purpose of, oh, I wanted to smash a bunch of buttons to see what would happen, but it's so tempting. And it's so like separate from the like natural human understanding of how to create a child that I don't think it would like I don't think you'd fully realize what you're doing until it was done. Even if you know for a fact like this is going to happen. Oh my god. Okay, they put her in the mini Alita. That's amazing. Also, I like the fact that that 4 coma was canon. I mean, I guess the Deckman 4 coma could have also been canon. It's not like, you know, hanging himself kills him. Doesn't have a neck. It's so top heavy. Sex is such a cute little sex. Or Zex. Is that the proper pronunciation? It's been so long since I've had to say it properly. Yeah, I think it is Zex, right? Okay, yes, it is in fact Zex. Oh, jeez. Oh my gosh. Right, her brain biochip wasn't left inside. So it's possible that she's still, like, salvageable somewhere. Right. I mean, he technically could do it with his karmic technology. But, oh dear. Please kill all the Teferian survivors. There's no way she would do that. For research purposes, I don't want to limit your free will. Right, because he wants to see, like, how her karmic actions will change the world, so... Yeah. If the data that was her brain is gone, then she is dead. But if the chip is around here somewhere, then perhaps. I mean, I know they said that they probably destroyed it, but still. Oh my god, okay, I didn't think about that. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, so it is like, it's just a system of all the other, like all the brains, which makes a lot of sense. Because, you know, first of all, the brain is incredibly powerful as like like just as a like organic processor. But also, it would be the ultimate like system of democracy to have a central like electronic brain that is also literally all the citizens. Like literally all the citizens. Oh, that's so cool. She'll be the Lou she was at 19, right? She won't know you at all. But are you willing to save her anyways? It's in your hands, for I am going to space. Oh boy, we're doing it. We're doing it. Ooh, that's right. Since the final 3 chapters aren't canon. I mean, are they? No, they're not. So, we don't know that much about Koyumi now, right? Also, it seems like Vector's gotten way bigger than he was before. Like, he was pretty hot shit before, but he didn't seem that, like, it didn't seem like people openly feared him the way they do now. Also, this is so cool. Like, one of my favorite things is the concept of a sterile bubble. Like, where you just go somewhere, you immediately inflate it, then you can, you know, perform surgery basically anywhere. That's so cool. And also this idea of, hey, pay for a gawking? You want to look? Oh yeah, that's right. They brought that up way before the final 3 chapters. The idea of, if we take all the junk in the scrapyard, we could build a tower to Tiferes. And like, now that the social structures there, the social structure there has been destroyed, it seems a bit crazy to try, but it's not impossible. Yeah, that's real scary. I don't believe in words. That's such an interesting take on it. The idea that because he is so good at telling people are lying, he was able to immediately sense, okay, no, chaos is completely true. Like, he's not lying at all. He genuinely believes in this idea of, let's build a tower to the heavens. Alright, her dad's still a drunkard. Another gift from the shopkeeper. You owe him one. He's got the samurai sword again. Yeah, like, even if it is all just words, like, it's such a cool concept. I can definitely see how you could be swayed by just the idea of it. Can't believe in anything anymore. Right, so in this version of things, she never ended up, like, actually making the journal, I assume. Like, she still has the pictures, but she never, like, published the journal. Okay, and so Vector, like, remembered the day. It wasn't just, like, bragging rights or anything. He is legitimately waiting there for chaos to show up. At last, I understand how grave a sin it is to dream. It's a paper airplane filled with thoughts, I guess. Or, not thoughts, but, like, because she didn't throw it. But for it to contain all of this, what could be on it then? Or, like, who could have made it? Like, what is the history of this piece of paper? Whatever it was, though, like, it caused him to flip from being completely filled with despair to being willing to slash apart everyone with the power of his sword. Oh my god. That is so cool. Without a dream in their hearts, people die, but if you carry your dream around without acting on it, it rots away. The only way to atone for the sin of dreaming is to make that dream reality. Oh my god. Okay, so it was Alita. Oh my god, that is so cool. Like, what a flip from a chapter that was so melancholy and so full of despair to something so exciting. Okay, so that's chapter 12. This was a pretty solid volume. Like, the fact that it's not a volume that I can actually get to the end of is weirding me out, but it was pretty great. I thought the ending of the fighting gym arc was pretty cool. Like, I like how much Alita's grown over the course of the entire series. Like, even this, she didn't like give in to just raw fighting for the sake of fighting. It was more that like she was like delving into that very animalistic, like raw sense of, battle that she has. But she was doing it for a reason. The fact that she specifically, like, for a moment thought about like, well, could I slaughter all the Tifferins if it meant resurrecting Lou? Like, it shows how strong the individual bonds she makes are. That in the end, she doesn't really have any like ideals that she holds above everything else. In the end, like, her connection with just, people that she likes come first and foremost. That's actually really unique because in most series, you have like characters who do believe in their friends, sure, but they usually also have this greater goal of, I want to do X thing, or I have this thing I want to move towards, and I'm going to do it with my friends. But with Alita, like, I guess her main driving focus is to maybe get her memories back. Like, that's kind of her overall thing, is she kind of wants to go back to Mars. She kind of wants to like figure out who she is. But most of what drives her is just like in the moment, just friends or people she knows. Like, that informs way more of her decisions than like an overarching plot or anything. In any case, I guess I'll leave it off at chapter 12. I might do volume 3 as I'm sitting down. I really want to get to the end of this compilation. So, until next time, bye for now. Yeah, yeah.